If you've just joined us, you're watching Newslink on DSTV channel 403. Now, the Eastern Cape is a poor province, at least that's the narrative we're all used to, but the provincial government wants to change that. It says it's rich in minerals and wants to take advantage of that. eNCA's Ronald Masinda joins us now from the Mining Indaba being held in East London. Good morning, Ronald. Perhaps for the benefit of our audience that might not be aware, could you take us through the mining activity there?
Fundo, good morning. Well, the Eastern Cape authorities are hoping that the two-day Mining Indaba will unearth many opportunities for people who are without work, as we understand that the mining industry in South Africa has employed well over 450,000 people. That's what last year's stats suggest. The Eastern Cape itself is rich with minerals such as uranium as well as coal, just to name a few, and it's for that reason why many people are here, people such as parliamentarians. We saw the UDM's Abantu Olomisa also arriving here earlier, as well as CEOs of state-owned entities are here to discuss those key topics, as well as trying to lure much-needed investment. I am joined by the Deputy Speaker of the Provincial Legislature, Mr. Mlibo Koboshiana. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Very important discussions will be taking place here. Just give us a general overview, and more importantly, why now? I mean, we've had these minerals for as time began, but yeah, why now?
Well, thank you very much, and good morning to you and good morning to the viewers. I think as the Eastern Cape, we want to reposition this province as the destination of multi-opportunities. And I take this Mining Indaba as timely because coincidentally there is a presentation of a budget statement by the Minister National today, and also multi-stakeholder, private sector, communities, traditional leaders, kings, and also traditional communities themselves will reflect of how mining can trigger opportunities. I mean the upstream and downstream jobs opportunities in technology, in mining, in agriculture. All the combination of that will resemble how Eastern Cape post this event will ensure that we are also gravitating towards taking young people towards the academy, so that the artisan skills, the mining skills, the logistics, the transport, all those that are there are quite licensed in order to ensure that even young people of the province, women and disabled, take the opportunity and advance, because mining is one of the major employer, I think close to 500,000, and I could see that in terms of contribution in the GDP from 481 billion down from 350-something billion in 2020 to 2021 is an indication that the rock foundation of any solid country is pigeonholed on the sustainability of its mineral resources.
This is, of course, a province where a number of projects didn't get off the ground. One can look at the seismic blasting that should have taken place at the Wild Coast. How do you then get the confidence of much-needed investment here?
That's it. I think as a person who is coming from the legislature, I've, for instance, gone through some of the pieces of legislation, and I could see why even courts are forcing the state to follow its own prescripts, policies, as well as legislation. The issues of consulting the community is the cornerstone of our democratic dispensation, ensuring that when they need information, access to information prior issues, so that they know exactly that how they stand to benefit, what kind of economic participation, what are the issues of ensuring them that whatever is going to happen, the rehabilitation, the social labor plans, as well as the issues of governance of what's supposed to happen after the investment, all of those things are quite important. And when the communities are partners, they co-own, they ensure that it's not only contribution of labor and selling of their own strength, but it's a question of saying we are part of the development, we are informed, we can partner with the investors, facilitated by our government. All of those things will guarantee an Eastern Cape that is compelling for investment to come and flow. And I believe one thing that is critical for me is to ensure that if we do have nickel, we do have platinum, we do have gold, chrome, diamond, all of those resources are the engines of ensuring that we can sustain our economy, but it must also be the future generations that will also tap from that kind of downstream job opportunities.
Also very important is the current energy crisis. I mean, just earlier we had lights switched off at this particular venue. In terms of what we are hoping to hear in terms of yourselves as the provincial government from today's midterm budget announcement, what would you like to hear? And should this energy crisis go on for much longer, how will this impact such initiatives?
I think for self-respecting state and government, we have to address the issue of energy. There is no growth potential. There is no development that can take place side by side with energy crisis. I think for all resources that we have, for all the things, wisdom and capacity of the state to move, we must ensure that we stabilize the energy in South Africa. Remember, 28 years for any industrialization to be fully realized, it's when we attend and address the issue of energy crisis in South Africa. And I believe there are all possibilities that infrastructure, expansion of mixed energy plants in South Africa that we have adopted, all of those faculties must perform. When it comes to coal, no matter what are the transitions that we want, clean energy and so on, but that must not be at the detriment of reindustrializing this country. For instance, in the province of the Eastern Cape, we still have to de-industrialize this province. If you go to the east, if you go to the center of the province, you must not see what I can term is homelands. Those things should have now collapsed. There must be a green energy, there must be agricultural potential, there must be coordination, working with our traditional communities and traditional leaders, local government, local economic development theaters, to ensure that we are coordinating that work together so that Eastern Cape is becoming one of the tested territories of new opportunities and new ventures. And I believe with perennial rivers, with deep soils, with good climatic conditions, with our small mining contribution, as long as we can take our communities together, this province can still benefit out of that.
Very lastly, the Eastern Cape is also known as a province that has created a lot of mining workers, people who've left the province to work in areas such as Gauteng and the Northwest. How do you then ensure that those people contribute to their own economy here in the province?
One of the key things that we're supposed to do and say in this Indaba, for instance, is that capable, energy young men leave this province at their high peak of potential. And when they come back, they are candidates of hospitals and clinics because of typhoid and chest issues. And one thing that I think we need to locate is to ensure what are the mining companies doing, whether we are speaking of reindustrializing through agriculture potential, we are ensuring that we create animal husbandry, people are well trained, people are skilled, people do understand that we can still create our new retail, we can still finance our new small, medium, macro enterprises so that they can also contribute to the same mines because of the skills that are there. I'm speaking of custom feeding. These people are buying cattle, animals. Eastern Cape is the leader of that cattle population in the country, but at a communal basis. And I think if we can learn skills of fattening those animals, they can increase the value, the potential of our rural areas, fencing, irrigation, and all of that skill, technology being part of that. I'm telling you, Eastern Cape can redouble its effort and change in a matter of a decade.
All right, Mr. Khubashane, let's wrap it up there. That is the Deputy Speaker of the Provincial Legislature. This as we await the start of the inaugural Eastern Cape Mining Indaba. It's back to you, Steve.